Okay, so for the base of this pot, I need a slab. If I were in class, I would be able to use the big slab roller. If I have a rolling pin, that will also make a slab okay. If I don't have a rolling pin, I can use lots of other things. I could also use this tin can. It'll leave a bit of a texture on it, but that's okay. You could use some sort of jar. You got a olive jar. This happens to be some coffee. It's metal, or it's glass, so I can use that. Just be careful that when I lay it down, it's not going to roll off the table. Okay, so those are things that you can use to roll a slab when you don't have the right materials at home. So I've got my chunk of clay. First thing I'm going to do for rolling this slab out is cut just a little bit of it off. If I were in class, I would use the fettling knife to chop that off. If you don't have something like that, a butter knife works really well. I would not use a sharp, like a steak knife or a peeling knife, something like that. This will work just as well. So I'm going to chop off a chunk that is a little thicker than what I need it. Okay, and my goal here is to roll out a slab that is about 3/8 of an inch thick. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to use my coffee here and try to get a slab that's a little thinner than 1/2 of an inch. And I've got my slab. So I'm going to cut a circle out of that slab so that it's ready for my coil pot. Again, in class, the tool I would use would be a fettling knife. I don't have one of those at home. I'm going to use a butter knife. So I'm going to try to just go straight down and cut this out the best that I can. So here I go. Now I can cut that to free that up, and I've got my little base. I don't want to leave paper on my project or in my project board or in my project wrapped up, because it will grow mold and that sort of stuff. So I've got this scrap clay that I rolled out that I cut off. So this, make sure you're reclaiming all these little pieces. You're going to need this for the rest of your project. So a block this size really only needs one hole. I can put a hole in that. Now typically if you're at school, you're going to put this in your big bucket with some water in it. Let's say you don't want to take this huge thing home. A couple things you can do to make your life a little easier. A Ziploc bag, a nice one with a nice zipper on it, is good for storing your clay. You can take any kind of leftover container. This one happens to be coffee. Hopefully you're noticing a theme. I like coffee. You could also use a sour cream container or a cottage cheese container, something like that with a lid. Anything like that that you can store that clay in works as well. So this, I would put water in, stick it down in my container, and that will soften back up over time.